another tutorial video in our tutorial series. Now, in this episode, I am talking about a CodePen, which is an online editor for web development. In the previous video, I spoke about Visual Studio Code, which is also an editor for web development. In many ways, you can think of CodePen as an alternative editor, like how in VS Code I mentioned that there are other brands like Sublime, Atom, and so on. So in some ways, CodePen is like another alternative, but the big difference is that this one is a web-based editor. Okay, so which means this runs entirely in your browser. Now that is very beneficial because a lot of times, not a lot of times, usually once you start becoming a developer, it is not unusual for you to have multiple computers. Like for example, in my own case, because I work in tutoring and software development, I have like some 5 to 8 computers. Of course, I do a lot of other work as well, which require some specialized, computers. So I have more computers. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, so let's say if you do have more than one computer, then sometimes it's easier to practice and learn and share and work on projects if all your stuff is available directly in your browser. Because once you have something on a browser, like even if you're traveling or something, you are like traveling, you're away from your main computer, but you have a friend's computer, you can just log in, because on the browser, like how you check email or something, and then just resume your work and do some quick learning and things like that. So for that reason, I always encourage my student. Now, it's not mandatory to use CodePen in the course. Everything can be done in your VS Code, but being able to use CodePen and all its features, main features, not all the features, the main features is a good option for you, especially as a learner. And so when you go to CodePen, let me just bring up CodePen on the screen here. When you go to CodePen, you can just use your GitHub account to log in. I mentioned before that your GitHub account is like a passport. It's like an identity, a developer identity on the internet. So please use your GitHub account to log into your CodePen, and then just start using your CodePen and everything like that. So one of the things first thing I want to mention is on CodePen is it is a very useful tool to find what other people are doing. Like for example, if I go here, check out the trending section, I can see what other people are up to. For example, this person, Akam Gokdogan, has built some portfolio responsive dashboard or something. There you go. So I can see that they've built something, they're showcasing their skills and stuff like that. And the best part is, whatever they have built, I can actually go here and I can look at the code. So this way, not only do you get to see what somebody else is building, you can also go digging around what code they used to build whatever it is that they have built. And in case you want to experiment with what they are building, then you can see here on the bottom right corner, I think my face is blocking that part. Let me just remove my face from the video. So if you're curious, on the bottom right corner, you can simply click on the fork option, and that project that this person has built gets added to your own account, and you can start making changes if you want to. Okay, like for example here, let me just make a very, very tiny change. So here it says popular activities. So I think that is this word here, popular activities. So I can just say, I can just change it to activities that are popular. There you go. So now I'm able to make some changes. So if I really want to, if I like this design for some reason, maybe just for practice, or maybe I want to use this in my own personal hobby project or something like that, I can sit down, spend some time understanding how the code works, and then make changes, maybe change the image, maybe change that logo, maybe change some numbers and things like that. So that is one of the many things I like about CodePen, you can look at what other people, other developers from all over the world are building, and seeing and learning is a very important part of becoming a developer. Look at what others are doing. Look how they got the output and stuff like that. And similarly, you can also build, and it will get shared with anybody. Whatever you make public will get shared to other people as well, so others can learn from what you're doing too. So that's one of the things I like about CodePen. So whenever I want to learn something new, improve my knowledge, because learning never stops. So if I feel like knowing new things, doing new things, because programming is dynamic. Every month, every year, things are changing, technology is changing, people are getting more and more creative and doing new things. So that's one thing I like about CodePen. Another thing is, let's come out of this one. So go back to CodePen. Now, the main thing, of course, is for your learning. How does it help? Okay. So on the left side, you'll see, let me bring my face back up again. Ah, there you go. So on the left side, there is a button called Pen. I'll be using CodePen during the course as well, so I will be repeating this step. But here, I'm just focusing on it. So go ahead, click on the pen button, and you'll get yourself a new pen. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a title here, like pen for video recording. Right, there you go. And then I want to put some code. I don't want to type anything right now. So what I'll do is I'll just go online. I'll go to this website called W3 Schools. And then I will just copy some code. Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to take this code and I'll put this in my pen. I'm just going to save it. There you go. Now I want to take the CSS and put it in the CSS section. So I'm going to copy this carefully, cut it, and put it here so that the CSS is in the CSS section. Let me see if that worked. All right, well, there you go. So that's it, easy. Okay, and the best part is if I want to see the output, once again, I'm sure my face is blocking that part. So let me just remove my face. So I can look at the output. There's a small button here, live view, live preview, like in VS Code. So there you go. It's like a website. You can see how it looks. And, you can share this. You'll get a link, a live link. You can take that link and share it with your co-learners. Like we have our own community for the course. We have our own Discord. So maybe you feel like sharing this with your other learners, or maybe you get stuck, okay, and you want to show to other people where you got stuck. All these reasons, all these things become easy when you use CodePen. Okay, so that's the biggest reason to use CodePen. So when you are practicing, either you get stuck, or you do something cool, or you do an assignment and you want to submit it, you do an assessment, you want to submit it. So all these things become really easy with CodePen because it's all online. So when you share a link like this with a friend, with a friend or a classmate on our community or Discord or anybody else in the world, imagine this is a new computer, like a new browser, they can simply take that link that you shared and they can see for themselves what is it that you are doing. And if they want to look at the code, they can click on the button called source code and they can look at the code you've written and they can appreciate your code. And if you have a doubt, they can look at the problem and they can fix it and share back the fixed code with you. So these kind of back and forth interaction is very much a possibility with CodePen. So those are the main features of CodePen. And as I've been talking about, you get automatic deployment, like you get a live link. Now, please remember, you can do the same things with GitHub as well. Okay, so CodePen is an optional editor to use, but I highly recommend you become good at using CodePen along with Visual Studio Code, especially for a learner, because when you're learning, you will make a lot of mistakes. You will get stuck a lot. And obviously, you have to submit assignments and assessments, which you can do with GitHub and VS Code. But if you start doing that with CodePen, it'll make your life and others' life also very, very convenient. So there you go, my dear students. That is all there is to it about CodePen. It is fairly easy to use, and it's one of the essential tools, especially for a learner. And even once you become experienced developer, you can use the CodePen community to keep learning new things. Anything in web development, you can usually find someone always doing something. So if you have an idea, it is possible that someone has already done it and you can get inspired by them. And it's not like you're copying everything they are doing. You're taking their code, studying what someone is doing. Maybe another developer has done something really nice, and you want to use that specific part of the code. There's nothing wrong with it. Watching others and learning is a great way to become a better developer. So that's all there is to it with this one. And we'll continue with the next episode.